What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to give you my review for Chain Echoes. Finally finished. Now, this is an indie RPG with a lot of big ideas, and while they don't all land, I still had a lot of fun with this game. So let's not wait any longer, let's go ahead and talk about Chained Echoes. So, what is Chained Echoes about? On its surface, it's a story about a dude named Glenn and his homie Kylan who work for a mercenary group, and that group gets tricked into setting off a weapon of mass destruction. As the only two survivors of the event, Glenn and Kylan go on a quest to make sure that they not only find this weapon, but make sure that no one ever uses it again. At the same time, a princess named Lean and her homie Rob are hearing rumors that Lean's brother, the king, is about to start another war. So these two unlikely pairs end up meeting because of these two random events, along with another set of just random people that happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and they all come together and decide that they need to stop this war. Now, while that sounds basic on the surface, this game's story is extremely ambitious, and for the most part, it does a great job of telling the story. If you include the side quests, the majority of the cast gets some time to shine, and you learn about most of them. They obviously can't get to everyone because this game has a lot of playable characters, but the main cast, especially the main protagonists and antagonists, are fleshed out very well. The ambition of the story does get the best of it sometimes. For example, this game is a game of plot twists, and for the most part, a lot of them are really fucking good and you don't see them coming. However, there does get to be a point where some of them are very obvious, and while they impact the story, they don't impact you as the player in the way that I think the game tries to get across. Overall, the story or the game tries to tell a really big and awesome story, and I think it pulls it off for the most part. I think it can use some fat trimming in the story, and you can tell that there's some issues with the translation as well, but overall, it didn't impact me in the way where I thought the story suffered too much for it. Alright, so next, I want to talk to you guys about the battle system. Now, this is a mixed bag for me because frankly, it's not as good as I was hoping it would be. First, there's two types of battles. There's human battles, and then there's battles in your mechs called sky armors. So we'll talk about both those battle systems separately. So let's start with the human battles. The hook with both battle systems is what's called the overdrive bar. For human battles, you get a bar, it starts with yellow, which is normal, and then there's a green section, which is called overdrive. In this mode, your attacks deal more damage, you take less damage, and your skills cost less TP to use. If you go too hard, you enter the red section, and that's called overheat. Overheat is the exact opposite of overdrive in every way. You deal less damage, you take more damage, and your skills cost more to use. Now, taking actions and dealing damage raise your gauge. However, there are certain skills that you can do to lower your gauge, and those skills are signified by the symbol in the upper left-hand corner of your overdrive bar. So what it turns out to be is like this delicate dance of getting into overdrive, staying in overdrive, and making sure that you don't go back or go into overheat or go back into your normal state. When you're out of your sky armors, battles are so much fun. You have to take every single battle seriously or you're gonna get wiped out by regular mobs. And the balance and the dance of staying in overdrive without overheating or going back to normal is honestly really fun. On top of that, the characters in human form have a lot of skills for you to learn and equip, and you can level up those skills as well in the menu, so you can make your characters as diverse as you want, and you can make different builds of characters depending on what you want to do with them. I think this part of the battle system is fantastic, but this game has a whole nother separate battle system when you're in your sky armors or in your mechs. And I'm gonna be real with you, I did not enjoy this part of the game. So, like I said earlier, we're still dealing with the overdrive bar when you're in your sky armors, except this time it is one big yellow section in the middle with 2 red sections on each side. On top of that, your sky armor has 3 different levels that it can operate at. Level 0, you have access to no skills, all you can do is attack, but it doesn't move your overdrive bar one way or the other. At level 1, that's your normal state, where you can use your skills, they cost a normal amount of TP, and using any skills causes your overdrive bar to move to the right. And then when you're in level 2, your skills deal more damage, they cost more TP to use, and they move your overdrive bar to the left. When enemies attack you, they can only move your overdrive bar to the right. My issue with all of this is that I think there is way too much going on. I get wanting to make sky armor battles different from regular battles or on foot battles, but I think this could have been achieved without adding so much more to the battle system. Like just keeping the overdrive bar the same as human battles, keep the levels for your mechs, but make the difference is at level 2, your skills still cost more to use, they still deal more damage, but they move your overdrive bar even further to the right. And you still have to use your regular skills and the things you do to lower your overdrive bar that you do on foot, such as using certain commands that the game tells you to use, or just using skills that lower your overdrive bar. I don't think there's a need to have it work in 2 different directions with 2 different overdrive or overheats on the side, especially since enemies can only move your overdrive bar in one direction anyway. That kind of throws off the dance of you being able to move it in 2 ways. And another change from the human battles to sky armors, which I honestly don't mind as much as I thought I would when I first saw it, your skills and abilities are attached to your frames, which is your armors, and your weapons. So that's kind of like Final Fantasy IX, which is why I was okay with it at the end of the day. Overall, as far as the battle systems themselves go, half of it's dope, half of it's not. But I don't think that there are enough sky armor battles in the game for me to be completely down on the battle system as a whole. The majority of the game is gonna be on foot. The majority of the bosses you fight are gonna be on foot. So I don't think there's enough of the sky armors in the game or sky armor battles in the game to make me down on the battle system. I still really enjoyed it overall. So there's 2 more aspects that I want to talk to you guys about, and these are a couple of things I'm talking about where the game has big ideas that don't quite land, and that's these 2 systems here. The first one is called the crystal system. So spread out throughout the game, there's these big orange crystals that you can mine, and they give you different crystals that give you like different little abilities, like killers for different types of enemy types. So like bird killer, you do more damage against birds. There's ones that like buff your HP, buff your TP and attack. There's some that are special, like increased rare drops. There's all kinds of like different crystals and stuff that are in the game. The issue with this system though is that you can completely fucking ignore it and it doesn't make a difference. Doing these things, like you can if you want, but they don't have an impact on the overall game or experience. It's something that I did at the beginning of the game that I stopped doing halfway through. I still upgraded my weapons because that's an option for you too. You can upgrade your weapons and make them stronger. I did that, but I stopped putting the crystals in them completely. And it didn't affect my gameplay, it didn't affect any battles. It probably would have made some shit a little bit easier maybe, but I had no issues finishing the game, so I really couldn't tell you. And another system that the game has that I ignored for the most part, I collected them all at the end, and that is the class system, which is really disappointing to say. You find these random statues throughout the world, and you offer an item called a sacred water, and you pray to the statue. And then you fight a boss fight, and if you beat the boss fight, you get the class emblem. And then that gives you a couple of skills that you can give your character, and it buffs their stats a little bit. But it just seems like it was half-assed. You know what I mean? Well, you don't, but I'll explain it to you. This class system, you cannot permanently learn any of these skills. You can level them up and stuff as the emblem is attached to you, but once you unequip that emblem, you lose those skills. On top of which, you can only equip one class emblem per character. So you cannot mix and match skills to build like custom classes or anything like that. That is not an option for you. The class system as a whole would be much better if you can keep the skills that you learn and then you're able to mix and match skills when you equip your skills. That would make the game much more open in terms of the builds that you can make per character, and it would just be fun to see what combinations that you can come up with. Overall, those two systems, the class system and the crystal enhanced system or whatever it is, just feel like shit that was tacked on at the end of the game. Oh, we'll do it just because we can. That's just me, but I just feel like you can ignore classes and crystals completely and finish the game just fine. Alright, so I want to talk to you about a few more things before we wrap this review up. Let's talk about the OST. Now this soundtrack is fantastic. I really enjoyed this OST. The battle theme is called Calling Upon Bravery, and that song is dope. It's one of those battle themes where it makes you feel empowered, like you're not in trouble, there's no issues here, we're strong, we're confident, and we're gonna clap whatever steps out in front of us. That's the battle theme that Chained Echoes has, and quite frankly, that's what a battle theme needs to be, something that fills you with inspiration and confidence so you're able to march on from one battle to the next. The boss theme is called Fractured Echoes, and again, this song hits the mark. I think boss themes should be themes that instill fear in you, instill caution in you, and makes it feel like that this battle, if we make it out of this bitch alive, is going to be a grind. But, we have each other, we have the squad, we can get out of this situation. That's what Fractured Echoes is. Every single bit of that song makes me feel that way. And just like I said with Calling Upon Bravery, this is the way a boss theme should make you feel while you're playing the game. And I would like to give a special shout out to the song that they use for Towns. That song is called A Day in the Village. This is the most peaceful shit I have ever heard. Like this song, when I listen to it, all I think about is a summer day at the perfect temperature and you're sitting under a fat, beautiful tree reading your favorite book. That's what this song is. It is so peaceful, so relaxing, and you know you're gonna fall asleep before you even make it through like the first page of that book. That's what A Day in the Village is. I absolutely love this song and just wanted to shout it out before the review ended. Overall, I think this is a really good RPG. The story is dope, half the battle system is fantastic, the other half is meh, but it all levels out with the frequency of foot battles versus sky armor battles. And the OST I think is really fucking dope. Now the game doesn't hit on every plot point in the story. Like I said, the sky armor battles aren't the best, and there's a couple of systems like the crystal and the class system that can use some tweaks, but none of those things do anything to ruin the experience of Chained Echoes. The story's still dope, it's still fun to play, it's still a dope game to listen to. To give it a score, I would give this game an 8 out of 10. It's not the perfect RPG, but it is something I would definitely play again. Alright guys, that's gonna do it for my Chained Echoes review. I hope you all enjoyed it and found it useful. If you have any questions about the game that I didn't address in my review, please leave them in the comments. I appreciate you guys watching and hanging out, and I will see y'all next time. Peace.